So today I'm going to be going over 6 books. I have a pile just here of the books that I think every single Christian should give a read. Um, this applies to Christians of all denominations, and each book is varied. Some of them are philosophical, some of them are short stories, some of them are historical analysis of Christianity. Anyway, I'll get into it. So the first one, and the most influential, I would say, in my life, particularly in my spiritual life, would be The Imitation of Christ. Great book. It's written by a Catholic. Fantastic, though, and I think regardless of your denomination, you should definitely give it a read. You can find them at pretty much all bookshops. This has been just as valuable to me as the Bible, and it really highlights that regardless of how much knowledge or physical things you acquire in life, at the end of the day, the most important thing is spiritual growth, and that's really difficult in a world where we have everything. And I know there's a bit of irony in that, with me suggesting more books for you to read and buy and go get. The second would be Thomas More's Utopia. Really good. It's written in the perspective of a dialogue, as is most philosophy. Absolutely fantastic. If you know English history, you know that Thomas More probably wouldn't be considered a saint today. I mean, he is still a saint in the Catholic Church, but he condemned a lot of people to death for owning Bibles in English. At the start of the Reformation in England, he killed a lot of people. And then ultimately, when the English court started changing under King Henry VIII, he was martyred to death once Protestants started taking over that church. And yeah, he is a saint in the Catholic Church, but there's a lot of debate about whether or not he should be. Regardless, Utopia is absolutely fantastic. One of the best books I've ever read. I have still not finished it, to be honest, so I have a bookmark there, but absolutely fantastic. Dives into issues that are still very relevant today. The next one is a bit different. The Hobbit. Tolkien was pretty based Christian. His family history involving Christianity is quite interesting, but the reason I suggest The Hobbit is because it's a happy story about good winning. It's an adventure. It's quick. It's very easy to read, especially in comparison to The Lord of the Rings. I mean, The Lord of the Rings probably has more Christian symbolism in it, but The Hobbit is a lot easier of a read. And in the end, it's an adventure. There's sacrifice. There's love. And that's a very Christian thing. The next one's a bit of a sad one. A Moral Reckoning. It's about the Holocaust, and it's about the Catholic Church's role, the role of the Catholic Church in the Holocaust and its unfulfilled duty of repair. So I highly recommend Catholics to check this out. I'm baptized Catholic. I have a few Protestant-leaning tendencies and maybe even a few Orthodox ones. But yeah, definitely check that out, because I think it's important for Christians to understand why people criticize us so much, and to be armed and ready with rebuttals, and to just acknowledge that, yeah, we've done a lot of bad. Next one, very similar ilk, Hitler's Pope. Same thing, Catholic Church's role in the Holocaust, or lack of action in the Holocaust. It's very sad, but it's very important, especially if you're a Catholic, to read them, to be exposed to them. Don't live in denial. Don't live in delusion. You need to embrace your history. You need to understand it. The final one was gifted to me by my godmother, and it is A Year with, I'm going to say his name wrong, Dietrich Bonhoeffer. There you go, Dietrich Bonhoeffer. A Year with Dietrich Bonhoeffer. This is one of the best gifts somebody has ever gotten me. I need to use it more. I need to be more consistent with this. Every single day of the year, there is a passage you can turn to and read out. Today is the 3rd of December. I will smack that open. Space for God. I've come to be doubtful of talking about any human boundaries. Is even death, which people now hardly fear, and is sin, which they now hardly understand, still a genuine boundary today? It always seems to me that we are trying anxiously in this way to reserve some space for God. I should like to speak of God not on the boundaries but at the centre, not in weakness but in strength, and therefore not in death and guilt, but in humanity's life and goodness. As to the boundaries, it seems to me better to be silent and leave the insoluble unsolved. Belief is the resurrection, is not the solution of the problem of death. God's beyond is not the beyond of our cognitive facilities. The transcendence of epistemological theory has nothing to do with the transcendence of God. God is beyond, in the midst of our life. The church stands not at the boundaries where human powers give out, but in the middle of the village. That is how it is in the Old Testament, and in this sense we still read the New Testament far too little in the light of the Old. So that one's quite a complex one, but yeah, great passages. Apologies for not being able to pronounce that word. I have severe dyslexia. Fantastic though. Inspiration at the start of the day. If you're trying to get into a prayer routine, getting a book like that that's just one passage a day is an easy way to pace. Some honorable mentions. I don't have it on me, but The Consolation of Philosophy, really good book. I'm the best editor on YouTube, so I might edit that right in here. But fantastic book. It makes you think critically. It's a shame because the Catholic Church actually banned a lot of philosophical books back in not too long ago, unfortunately, but now we have permission to read them, so get to reading them. And thank you for watching.